Sometimes, it's that charm on the unknown.
Perfect. I'd love to see what else worries in their remarks.
It's specifically.
Good luck. I think so. Good luck with that.
What's it called? Corker of Honor. Yeah, thank you.
What's good?
I was expecting to therapy class on this menu and then poetry class went to oh yeah, it's bigger than so
Just start voting.
it's called
Yeah, that's right. It's the same actually.
Originally. Yeah, you need to be there.
Forget this page. Forget this page. Oh yeah, just that one thing actually at the beginning. Sorry. It's also such
God bless you.
Oh yeah. Right. Okay, hello everybody. Thank you for braving the elements and eclipses and all sorts of strange and unusual things to come out here this evening and share your being with the world. So today is the 696th Bhéal poetry event. Woo! Indeed. And it's a very special night because it's Bhéal's 17th birthday. Yes. Happy birthday, Bhéal. Yes, it's one more year before Bhéal is legal to go to nightclubs dancing. When I was 17, I was ditching school, watching a lot of MTV and smoking John Player Blue. So watch out, Bhéal could go crazy any day now. So we're going to start the night, as we always start these nights, with the 5-word challenge. For anybody who hasn't been here before, or for those who have and just want a little refreshment, how it works is you, audiences, members, will give 5 random words. From those 5 random words, you will be invited to write a poem using the words. When you have about 15 minutes to write the poem, or it doesn't have to be a poem, it can be a piece of flash fiction, it can be anything. And you are invited to come and read that. And there is, I want to say competition, but competition isn't the correct word because we're all winners here. No, there is a competition, and the winner will get a free drink at the bar and also get some books. You will get a copy of another thing we're celebrating tonight, the 5 Words volume 17. Oh, it's a 5 Words volume 17 also, which is very impressive. So you'll get a copy of this and a free drink and a few other books as well. First, you have to do the writing and win the challenge. So, could I get a word, please? Friends. Okay, friends. Oh. Ripple. Friends. Ripple. Belligerent.
Steam.
Steam. Steam. Playground. Friends, Ripple, Belligerent, Steam, and Playground. Very good. Scheme. Steam. No, it's Steam. Steam. STEAM, like a train or a shower or something of the like. Steam. Friends, Ripple, Belligerent, Steam, Playground. That's almost like a poem in itself. Okay, so you have like 15 minutes to do what you gotta do. Yeah, so you have about 5 minutes left. If anybody wants the words that just joined us, let me know. About 2 minutes left.
And
There we go. Right. Alrighty then. Something I need to point out is that this event is recorded and will be available to revisit as an MP3 podcast and on video via Bhéal's website, social media, and Vimeo channels. Just so you're aware of that, in case you're going to say anything scandalous, but we'd still encourage that depending. Okay, so without further ado, not the open mic, the 5-word mic is open. If you could just tell me your name when you come up so I can write it down. And oh yes, this is everybody has a role here as well, because how we determine who wins is the person who gets the biggest clap, the biggest howl, the biggest hoot, hollering, etc., etc. So if you hear a poem and you really, really like that, make sure you give it lots of noise, because that's how we're going to determine who wins the drink at the bar, the books, and lots of praise for the rest of your life. Okay, so without further ado, the microphone is open for you brave souls. Jeff online is going to break the ice for us. Thank you, Jeff.
Okay then. My friends were quite belligerent that day in the playground where we were wont to play. It began with an intense debate that started nice and plummeted to hate. First, Betty asked, "What can you tell is the best song by Peter Gabriel?" Then Johnny said, "No contest here, his best is Steam, it's very clear." This caused a ripple of dismay that spread across my friends that day. "You're wrong," cried Todd. "It's Shock the Monkey." The way he said it was proud and spunky. "No, no," I said, all shocked and aghast. "The truth is, Gabriel never surpassed the work he did in the 70s with Genesis." Their faces did freeze. "Shut up," said Bill. "I hate Genesis. Their music was so pretentious." This sparked a round of fisticuffs until the other screamed, "Enough!" And to this day, I die on that hill. Genesis remains Peter Gabriel's career peak still.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Who's next? Yes, great. What's your name?
May.
May.
Oh, let's see. Short and sweet. I met my truest friends while surfing the ripples of our universe's destined timeline as we worked for the belligerent elite. Covered in dried blood, dirt, and now gas disguised as steam, our skin boiled and tried to melt itself off. Our shrill screams echoed through their playground, falling only on the ears of the other victims. And such was the life of a soldier.
Thank you, May. And Sonia.
Hi, Antonio here. My poem is called Polaroid 75. The playground was translucent. The lines of the basketball pitch mixed with those of volleyball were capturing the last portion of winter. The snow hidden on the white stripes was melting. A steam like a Greek ritual was taking place. Some school friends were playing outside. The light of the sunset was rippling upon their cheeks. Time lives sometimes and stops to be belligerent, and let the beauty blossom. Thanks.
Thank you, Antonio. Matt? Matt Mooney.
Right. The poem that has emerged is a poem called Playground. Who would blame kids in Gaza to be belligerent when they are being herded by the hunger that drives them to the feeding points, and their begging bowls are hurriedly filled with ladles by aid workers from monster pots, steam rising from gruel-like nourishment, ripples of desperation along the waves of pressing little bodies, seeking their turn for a chance to live, instead of flocking with their friends to a playground of colourful swings and carousels, ice cream cones licked and loved, while happy, contented moms and dads look on in peace. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Thank you. Elizabeth.
This is the first time I've done this, so it's quite exciting. A belligerent goose has remembered that the towpath belongs to him, and he becomes wide, ever expanding, a hiss of steam as he inflates. On days when I can cry about not knowing what friends are or if I have any, the paint blue ripple of dusk sky and canal feels empty and quiet, and I think about the playground at the end of the world, when there is no more hope or danger, no people, just you roaming, your own clip-clop footsteps. The goose is an unexpected final encounter. I make some kissy noises, click my tongue in my throat without thinking about it. When I let go like this of the human in me, it feels easier. He retracts slowly, neck, then wings, then tail fan. I move to stand next to him and we look up and down together. He honks in a kind of letting go, and I echo it.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Peter online.
Hi, everyone. I'm calling this Unity with the 5 words prompt today. Great to see everyone. Unity. The coniferous forest has a belligerence all its own, but will you admit it into your reductionist romanticism? Friends, I am here to extol the unity of science with nature, to break out of the convenient playground of dichotomies you wallow in, and stake out a place of praise for those who we really are, and how our actions stream out boundlessly with ripples of consequence despite our ideals of something pure outside of who we are, as if a log cabin or a whaleboat were not the height of technology in their day. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Peter. Phil Spillane is making moves.
Thank you. This is called Dark Side of the Sun. I came up with that one myself. No one inspired me. Guess who inspired me? Anyway, we'll go with this anyway. Oh, definitely among poets here. Anyway, Dark Side of the Sun. So what's it like from the dark side of the sun? How its light causes ripples of colors, emerald azure, opal silver, tangerine mellow, and blue. Between belligerent rain and the stillness, when the mud hugs your hiking shoes, and the drizzle is so soft it feels like steam. In this overcast, you see the dark side of everything, and think of all the friends that drifted away. Feel Fate is a clumsy playground where the swirly slides are chaos and the swings are pendulum time away. I feel it all, watching 4 rainbows overlap in the showers. I look at the nuclear fluorescent light bulb, and they say never look at her in the eye. And I ask, is there even a dark side?
Thank you, Phil. Jacob online?
Hey y'all. This one I'm calling Transplant. A friend's favored butter crackers on the shelf in a local cabaret. The older kind, a facsimile. A New World Old Town with 2 rippled P's. On town forget-me-not the E. Or flowers as they're named on the next shelf besides. And diverse vines themselves divined by belligerent transplantation all the same as me. By transportation steamed anachronistically across this Atlantic Sea. Still, I think of that home, a mulched childhood, a playground, a flower bed, a New World Old Town I find time still to grieve.
Thank you, Jacob.
Ryan, I said I better come up there before I chicken out for the 3rd time. This one's called Artists, Poets, and Poor Mouths. My friends, so-called friends anyway, belligerent bastards, if truth be told, and I wouldn't be shy of a bit of truth, like. Full of steam, piss, and vinegar, a lot of them. The odd time, all right, you might get a ripple of something worthy of mention round the playground. I wouldn't hold my breath though.
Thank you, Brian. Marcella? Oh, we're just going to have the person on the line first and then yourself.
Thank you. This is called Concrete. Loss is not singular. Losses add up, multiply, each one enlarging the one before it. Each friend lost is an unquiet ripple in our evaporating, belligerent pond, Earth. Is it any wonder so many souls take their jump ropes and leave this playground, this garden turned bully's courtyard? They rise all around me now, like spirals of steam on a summer's paved road. But let's you and I crack the concrete, plant acorns in the jagged holes, and go on, leaving behind, when we choose to go, only green leaves, bark, and blossoms. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcella. Is that? What's your name?
I forgot to give it a title. Friendships made on the playground are often carried through to the end. You and friends on sailing ships to travel the seas of your imaginations. Friends will never hold you back with no. They only say, all right, but how? You build ideas like a ripple effect. With the support of a friend, a teardrop can turn to a tsunami. And when you're running out of steam, they'll help you to see the sunshine. They'll call you out when you're belligerent as a trout, but have no doubt, friends are what it's about.
Thank you, Carol. Cedric?
Right, I don't have a title. Anybody watch sports here? I don't, but. A group of friends, a gang in the playground, coordinated in their opposition, running in sync, plowing the ground, in pursuit of an advantage. The competition fiends, either chasing or calling for the ball, struggled to end the stalemate. Until the ripple of a kick towards the goal stalled even the most belligerent ones in disbelief. For a moment, all stood still, with only the steam rising from their overheated bodies, and the ball rolling out of field.
Thank you, Cedric. There's somebody coming up here. What's your name?
Thank you. My ears are out on stilts. They stalk the belligerent air. Ripples ruffle conversations. Steam coming out both orifices. Lonely for friendship in this playground called life.
Thank you, Karen. Mary Louise, online?
Good evening. I managed to write a haiku, so it has no title. And the word booze, B-O-O-S, I realized could also be B-O-O-Z-E, depending. Friends, the playground on till belligerent booze rippled the steamy air. The end.
Thank you, Mary Louise. Sue Blue.
No title yet. My smile ripples as I watch you leave off steam on the playground. Your belligerent will cornered by rules of absurdity in the classroom. Quantity over quality, your academic mind unable to bear this pointless schooling. You have gathered no friends around you, left many a carcass by the wayside. Your over-entitled expects embrace. I wait with wrinkled heart to learn forgiveness.
Thank you, Sue. Pam Campbell, online?
Y'all hear me okay? Paul, can y'all hear me? I'm on kind of an edge of a connection. Okay. Okay. All right, here we go. A bull-necked, belligerent man thumps a thick black book held high for all to see. Friends, this here has the word and only the word for what is right and what is wrong. It ain't woke. His hate-driven spittle reassures the back corner of sleepy and playgrounds to the farthest corner of quiet where I run. Thank you.
Anybody else?
Right now it's called telegraphed. Think of the steam, the ripple of air from her unbelligerent stacks. They once were friends in a playground of clouds. All that coal it took to shovel everyone along from sea to shining graves. No one knew that the life vests were made of cork and would sink after waterlogged. No one knew that April chilled drinks meant hypothermia after 2:20 a.m. No one knew the century early was already ruined, turning into something that money could only pretend to buy. Forget about lost tickets, the trinkets slinking to the Atlantic's bottom for decades. Forget that the year was 1912. It's 2024 now. Gaza is burning. Rachel's been dead for 2 decades, and all the homes she imagined saving are gone in the smolder convened as policy. And like all white star lines proclaiming that 16 lifeboats, 4 collapsibles were plenty enough to keep everyone alive.
Thank you, Sandy. Lauren?
Look, just an observation, really, but a few minutes ago, I thought about how odd it would be to arrive here to the Long Valley on what on the surface is just another Monday night into the mists of an Ovail 5-word challenge, expecting to find friends belligerent with the good times, the bon-homme, the non-addictive type of crack. But instead, it's silent. Not a word or eye raised your direction. There's a whole bar full of people scribbling so fierce on notepads that there's steam coming from the tips of their ballpoint pens. And the ding rattle of the till is the most deafeningly loud sound in the whole town. So I'm trying to write a poem. Instead, I'm thinking about how exquisitely wonderful and fantastically weird that this playground of poets, this idiosyncratic arrangement of ideas, has been meeting here weekly, monthly for over 17 years, sending ripples of handwritten thoughts from the skull-locked black box out through a hand, onto the page, up, out from the mouth, into a microphone, and through the once smoke-thick, but now clear air, into all these other human brains. My skull, my mouth, your brains. And I just wanted to share with you that all this and life is a bit fucking strange. And so I suppose this piece is called Happy Birthday, Ovail.
do always worry about that when somebody comes in and everybody's like riding. It can look like a cult or something. But luckily, these things happen. Okay, anybody else? What's your name?
Kim. I'm Kim. And yet, there used to be a playground before the belligerent armies scoured it to sand. The ripple of children's laughter has run dry. Do you remember friends you have loved and lost? Perhaps time or place or casual hurts intervened. There is no, there is no container to hold the billowing steam of this loss. Friends of this boiling mass of destruction. And yet, when the dust of the armies no longer roils the horizon, we will pick up our spades, our brooms. We will find a way to dig ourselves out.
Thank you, Kim. Roshi?
I'm just loving the stuff here tonight. Just loving it, guys. Thanks for sharing. So this is called DNR, or Do Not Resuscitate, because I've been spending a lot of time in hospitals lately. You know the next of kins straight away by the way the steam rises from the orange bags they carry, rippling with stained yogurt and urine soaked pajamas. You share the lift with people who visit illness daily. In another space, they could have been friends you haven't met yet. In the playground that is drip stands, catheter bags, the endless beeping of IV machines pumping through anti-cubital fosses. Hospital walls bark back, belligerent. You all had enough.
Yeah. 17 times the dream. The solar eclipse is here and will not return until 2051. Not the same I hope for my friends, Kim Ports Parsons and Sandy Anon. Belligerent Saturn is in Pisces, a disciplinarian in the playground of excess. Hence my tipple is a mere ripple of alcohol-free Schneider vests. Tonight is 17 times the dream. The 5-word anthology ensures our poems do not turn into steam. Cheers.
Thank you, Catherine. Anybody else? Yeah.
Thank you. The night we were all eclipsed. Everyone avoided Nellie. Dark clouds gathered around her. Outside the school, after Mass on Sunday, at the grocer's, you daren't bring your child to the playground if Nellie was around. She'd fight with her shadow. We are still recovering from our latest outburst. A residents' meeting, re the new bus connect coming down from Maryborough Hill and giving buses dominion over the Douglas Road her husband uses trying to get to work in the city. She came to the meeting alone. No friends. Belligerent doesn't describe her. The room rippled with apprehension. We saw fire in her eyes, steam from her ears, and no focal of more than 4 letters left her spitting lips. The chairman ran from the room.
Thank you, Mona. Benjamin Brains.
Friends, sorry again. Friends sweat in mutual silence in the sauna, cast a ladle of ice-cold water on the coals, and find comfort in the hot explosion of steam that softens the body in ripples, from scalp to sternum, to calves, to memory, to playground like the surface of a puddle, disturbed by the joyful, belligerent splash of a child whose wellies are reflected in the hissing sky where water never settles.
Anybody else? Nobody second guessing themselves? No? Going once? Going twice? Going on Zoom? Oh. Okay, well done everyone, that was class. It's very, very hard to read the room in terms of our clapometer, a very sophisticated piece of machinery. There were lots of people who nearly snatched the crown, but I think the person who got the biggest reaction, applause, etc. was Elizabeth Gibson. So Elizabeth, can you read your poem again?
Thank you. I really didn't expect that. A belligerent goose has remembered that the towpath belongs to him and becomes wide, ever expanding, a hiss of steam as he inflates. On days when I cry about not knowing what friends are or if I have any, the paint blue ripple of dusk, sky and canal feels empty and quiet. And I think about that playground at the end of the world, where there is no more hope or danger, no people, just you roaming, your own clip-clop of footsteps. The goose is an unexpected final encounter. I make some kissy noises, click my tongue in my throat, without thinking about it. When I let go like this of the human, it feels easier. He retracts slowly, neck, wings, tail fan. I move to stand next to him and we look up and down together. He honks in a kind of letting go, and I echo it. Thank you.
Elizabeth, you get one of these copies of the 5 Words, volume 17, and some other books here, and a free drink at the bar. So well done. Well done to everybody. That was really great. Lauren, I think they should put your poem on the door as you enter in like a scroll. Yeah. And yeah, well done everyone. That was class. So we're going to take a wee small short little break of 5. We'll say 5 because it'll probably be 10, but we'll make it 5. So be free, mingle, rejoice, poetry. Oh yes, yeah. So Elizabeth, you get here.
Thank you.
Yeah, well done, your poem. What time is it Okay.
You know, you need to fill the whole edition, but just to get it going.
Grind. Fine. Do you have another pen? Mine's leaking. Thanks.
You'd be surprised. The thing is, like, if you don't try to
Yes, they're €5. Yes, of course. Yeah. I don't have any change right now. I can ask Paul. Just one moment. 2 seconds. And I'll give you back the $5. The donation jar. Okay, perfect. Thanks.
More than if you want I'm away next time. So I have to not that I have anything new, but you never know. The thing is, we have strong representation. See how we work. Yeah, it's better for them to participate. People are not only right. Anyway, to give the critique. It's much
When I die, all my life.
And she has stuff in the house and everything. So what I need is then you have to get them to the base as well. That's great. I find it a journey now if I don't want to go down.
Somebody who wants to do that, I will read it on
It's a family concept, really. We kind of
Whenever we used to, maybe I'll just turn the camera on so that technically crazy.
Oh yeah, Gibson. Yeah.
And will you say to her
For her email address.
that if she emails us the poem
Okay.
info at Bhéal, we'll put it into the next anthology.
Okay, perfect. Great.
Of course I do. It's so great to see you in person. Well, you know what?
Thank you.
If we didn't have you, we wouldn't be able to do it. So it's really easy. We just have the space, and as long as we come, that's what matters. But how have you been? Good. You look great. Oh my gosh. And you always sit over here, don't you? This is your area. This is what I remember. Yeah. I was here 5 years ago. I was here. I went there twice. I came with Edward Wire one night. And then I was one other time by myself. Now, always remember that you sat in the corner. Now, that one amazing. Because I can see it again. I can see it's coming and going. So that's good. Yeah, that's good. You see what's coming and going. Yeah, that's I like that. Also, I mean, new numbers. I'm trying to write murder mystery. I don't know how that's going to go. All right. So, what I'm trying to do. I do a lot of other things that people, if they want to get their job project. I started to do that too. And of course, I yes, I remember very well. Those feet, yes. Every Saturday, and it's a very well received well, very well. He was never a colonizer. So I think it's important to understand who was as a resident. There's a lot of solidarity. Yeah, but it's the solidarity. Sometimes misguided. Depression, instead of a modern. Is that right? No. She's way more complicated. Yeah. way more common. There would be a lot of that. They're not good. There's a far right here called and they're fascist. Very fascist, anti-racist. They're gathering a lot of people that are intellectually challenged around us. And I really feel for them because they haven't a clue how to they're growing. They harass the library staff in town.
But that was not historically what brought together.
No,
But that's what's happening now.
Yeah.
It's turning on its head.
Yeah, and they're going into the library. They went into the local library here in the city, and they harassed the staff for putting up a book in the children's section that was explaining all the multi-gender type words, and they said that they were criticized for meeting for librarians. So we had to bring and sit around the pin every Saturday just to in solidarity with them and to be there if they came.
Righto, we have loads of poets, poems, ideas, words to get through, so we're gonna come back from our break. So we have a few announcements first, and then we'll get to the good stuff. So Ovail aims to maintain a safe space for writers and all attendees. We subscribe to the Arts Council's Equality, Human Rights and Diversity Policy, and we ask participants to report. The 12 Fifth Words International Poetry Competition begins tomorrow at 12 p.m. So it's a new dawn, it's a new day for this year's 5 Words International Poetry Competition. And our 2024/2025 judge is none other than Lauren O'Donovan. Esteemed poet. But you get a sneak peek at the words before everybody else. So if you want to really utilize the next 12 hours to, try and get the best out of your poems, you can get the words earlier, and they're April, Linger, Glow, Fuse, and Bell. The 12th Ovail Poetry Film Competition opens for submissions on the 1st of May, and more details are at www.ovail.ie. Please be aware that this event is recorded and will be available to revisit as an MP3 podcast and on video via Ovail's website, social media, and Vimeo channels, so you can show your grandkids in decades to come. Our featured guests on Monday the 13th of May it's a bilingual event supported by Forest na Gaeilge, our own McAvoy and Joanne McCarthy, and they will be both live in person. All are welcome to attend in person and online. If you'd like to participate via Zoom, please email info@ovail.ie. On Saturday, the 13th of April at 3:30 p.m. is the launch of Cork poet Bernadette Gallagher's debut collection, The Risen Tree, published by Revival Press 2024 at Cork City Library. So get to that. The World Book Fest is on from the 23rd of April to the 28th of April. We also have a donation jar. Oh, hi, Bernadette. So yes, we also have a donation jar. It is here, held up, modelled by Brendan. Give it your money, and please, and thank you. And if you don't carry cash, if you are a technical queen, you can give donations via PayPal, and you can do that through ovail.ie. So you can go onto ovail.ie, find the PayPal and give it your money, or else just put it in the jar there. Well, and you can pass that around as the night continues to flow on in this eclipse moon. Okay, so Tonight, our guest readers, I will introduce them in un momento, but after that, we are going to invite anyone who has a book or a poem in this book, invite you to come and read your poem on the mic. So any featured poets in the 5 Words anthology, you can come and read after our featured poets. So, tonight, folks, our guests are the 5 Word competition winners. So the first winner, the first place is Derek Sellin. Woo! Second place is Mary Ann Smith Sellin. And third place is Lauren Thies. So we're going to get them to read their poems, and we're going to go starting with Laura Thies, who came third in this year's competition. And I'll read Laura's biography now. So Laura writes poetry, songs, and fiction in her second language. Her work appears in Poetry, Oxford Poetry, Magma, Rattle, Aesthetica, Dyslexia, and others, and has received accolades such as the Alpine Fellowship Writing Prize, the Oxford Brooks Poetry Prize, the Poets and Players Prize, and many more. Laura's poetry debut collection, How to Extradite Yourself, published by Dempsey and Windle 2020, was the winner of the Brian Dempsey Memorial Prize, an Oxford Poetry Library Book of the Month, and an Elgin Award nominee. Her collection, A Spotter's Guide to Invisible Things, won the Live Canon Collection Prize and received the Arthur Welton Award from the Society of Authors. So please give it up for Laura Thies, joining us via Zoom.
Hi, I hope you can hear me okay. Yeah, I wish I could have been there in person. It looks really, really cozy. And yeah, congratulations and everyone in the anthology, and congratulations Elizabeth for winning tonight's challenge. And yes, I'm gonna share the poem. And it had the 5 words, field, disturbed, image, abstract, and ruby, and it's called Imagine a Field. Imagine a field disturbed by nobody. Imagine the firs that grow beyond it and the fairy spirits they shelter. Imagine late hawthorn rubies on bare spined branches, dirt puddles frozen into abstract paintings. Imagine yourself walking into the scene and lying down on the cold ground. Imagine what color the sky would be and how many sharp-winged birds you'd witness crossing above you. Imagine closing your eyes and your retinas painting an after-image of avian patterns. You've made such a habit of seeing yourself as a prisoner. But look at this picture of you, surrounded by free things. How you fit right in. Thank you so much. And then there's a second poem that was also in the anthology, and that one is called Self-Care für Unsichtbare, and in translation that would be Self-Care for the Invisible. It's a short one. Self-Care für Unsichtbare. Listen, if it gets bad, you must cover yourself in old mown grass. Trace the lines of your face with a horse's tail stalk. Stick your bare feet into an unknown river. Step on something sharp, then pull the thorn out of your own toe. Even though the angle is awkward, put a little plaster on it and say, there, good as new. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Laura. The competition was judged by Theo Dorgan, and Theo gave his comments in this book. And for Laura's poem, he said, an adventurous and persuasive invitation to the reader's imagination, and a corrective to the rather trite cliches of contemporary journalism, a rebuke to the idea that humankind is somehow outside nature. We too can be free things, and if we trust our imaginations, as this poem does, we can fit right in. So thank you very much, Laura. Thank you. So, second place in the competition was Mary Ann Smith-Sellen. Mary Ann Smith-Sellen is a poet and painter from Canterbury in Kent. Her work has been recognised in competitions including Sentinel Literary Quarterly November 2017 and the Bhéal 5 Words Competition 2019, where she came first place, so a previous winner there. She has been widely published both in print and online. Mary Ann's first full poetry collection, The Shape of Our Lives, was longlisted in 2023 Indigo Dreams First Collection competition. She is currently working on poems for a new pamphlet themed around memories and photographs from her 1960s childhood. So we're joined by... Oh yeah, and Mary Ann's going to read her poem that came second and another poem as well.
Thank you very much, and thank you to everyone there at Bhéal. I wish we were there with you in person, and thank you to Theo Dorgan, the judge. My poem is about Derek Jarman's house at Prospect Cottage in Dungeness. He moved there in 1986, which was the same year that he was diagnosed as HIV positive. And in the 7 years before he died in 1994, he managed to create a garden there, despite battling his illness and the almost impossible conditions presented by Dungeness, which is Britain's only desert, shingle desert. So it's a remarkable achievement, and it's become almost a place of pilgrimage for gardeners and lovers of his work. So this is gardening in the other world, and the 5 words were flight, flood, peace, herb, and post. A life story, love story, written in flesh, flower, and thorn, an other world sewn into stone, seeking a way to thrive in a shifting desert of shingle and salt spray, upon most meagre sustenance. To garden here is a lesson in what will survive. Everything takes flight. The sky and the sea, pen across page, film through reel. In this auditorium of unhindered horizons, there's nowhere for the sky to hide its untidiness, its streets of cathedral clouds, nothing to break the journey of the sun's chariot from dawn to dusk. The anywhere of night awash with a flood of stars. Driftwood posts, the steeples of this open shrine, lift the weak and the stunted heavenwards. The twisted forms of wartime iron, now clad in peacetime demob suits of CP, and the dog rose has not had its day. Held between flintstone teeth are a softness of flowers with names that read like chants or prayers. Sage and rosemary for long life and remembrance. Rue, the herb of grace. Breath of heaven, yellow archangel. To garden here is to cross the boundaries of borrowed land, for love, for passion, to know loss, to plant your own heart and soul for others to find, for the bones of ideas to form shapes in their minds, and with survival, always just beyond how far the eye can see. Forget-me-not, heartsease, immortelle. And my second poem was written for an anthology about 6 prominent women with a personal connection to Gillingham in Kent. And my poem is about the novelist Rosemary Tonks, whose very mysterious life has been very well described in the introduction to the Blood Axe reissue of her collected works, which I highly recommend. So this is called Tracks on a City Life, For and After Rosemary Tonks. You cannot sleep. Time swings its slow censer. Rain clatters steel toe caps on rattling glass. Yesterday's crumpled thoughts lie strewn about, unfolded, because the drawer where they belong won't shut for something long stuck at the back. Born half orphan, half mourning herb, the full label flung around your neck too soon, too suddenly. What a strange haphazard city the mind is. The old part huddled round its church of learned behaviour, that darkened house always to be run past, and both now hidden in a tangled web of odd, unplanned developments. If you are lost, compassless, with sun, moon, stars all unreachable, you must follow those tracks dropped at your feet by corvids, the scribble of the river, bells. No quick ascent to high hopes when lifts are broken. Instead, a long climb up flights of stairs where nicotine niches hit out at each turn, and old breath still huffs about on landings. Everything looks different in monochrome light. Cup rings, or the ghosts of burst bubbles blighting once vigorously polished wood. Try as you might, you cannot wash out the incense of rare things burning, nor shake from memory their smouldering ashes. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marianne, and congratulations.
Thank you.
So, what Theo Dorgan said about Marianne's poem, Gardening in the Other World, the sheer exuberance of the words, the flow of attention, and the interplay between what is seen and what thought the seen thing evokes. These things delighted me. Derek Jarman's garden in the shadow of Dungeness Power Station was, among other things, a celebration and an act of defiance. The poem does him and the garden a beautiful justice. Thank you, Marianne. Congratulations to our winners. And the winner, first place winner, is Derek Sellon. Derek Sellon is from Canterbury, UK, and has written poetry, short stories, and plays over many years. He's written on a wide range of subjects, from Indian cave paintings to the myth of the Minotaur, from a Chinese street seller to Spanish art. His writing has won many awards over the years, including having won the Canterbury Festival Poet of the Year and twice previously winning the Bhéal International 5 Words competition. So no stranger to first place in the 5 Words competition with all different judges, I should say. His first collection was The Art and Its Shadow, and he is currently preparing a third collection. So, without further ado, please give a big round of applause. Congratulations. Oh, before that, I should mention also, Derek Sellon happens to be the husband of Mary Ann Smith Sellon, who you just heard read by coincidence. So, you have to put that in your bio. So, yes, we're going to hear Derek's winning poem and another poem from Derek. So, thank you.
Hello, everybody, and thank you. Thank you, Bhéal. Thank you, Theo Dorgan. Thank you, Paul Casey. And thank you to Michael Ray for the marvellous trophy that I received the other day. I don't know if I think you've seen photographs of it, but it really is fantastic. When the light shines through it, yeah, it was something of a miracle that the that we got the email saying that we both won prizes. I genuinely think it should have been the other way around. And anyway, so I'm going to read Against Cartography. Map was one of the 5 words, and as soon as I saw it, it started ideas. I think one of the things in my mind was using cartography as a metaphor for the surveillance society. That was in my mind while I was writing. Against cartography. Take a map by the scruff of its folds, snip the wires of its grid, interrogate it until it confesses how it has scrawled itself across the wilderness, has tinted the world with pallid blues and greens and browns, given ice fields and deserts the polish of names, noosed hills in contour lines. Keep it in isolation. No visits to Street View or cartographica.com. Treat it badly. Rumple it and trample it so that mountain ranges tumble into the creases. Accuse it of misrepresentation. Sentence it to shredding at dawn. Show the mortality of landmarks and cartouches, nothing but ink on fallible paper. Governments will demand compensation for highways that have wandered over cliffs, for cities sunk into swamps, border guards dizzy with amnesia, landowners arrested as squatters. Tell them to breathe deep the oxygen from liberated forests, to feast on anonymous vistas, step with the impudence they deserve over fallen no trespassing signs. Quick, before long-legged theodolites march over the ridge, deeds of ownership parachute down, flags sprout on summits, bulldozers and diggers storm the defenseless valleys. Captured, say with innocence to the judges, all I did was in imagination. There are no maps there. The mind runs free as a river, tracing its random course towards the boundless. Turn away when they show you the geography of your brain, every illuminated crinkle plotted on a screen. Keep your faith in bare, unmapped existence, if you can. And my next poem is called Layla. It's based on the old Persian Arabic tale of Layla and the poet Majnun, which you may have come across. Layla was forcibly married, despite being in love with the poet. And while she was married, the poet waited outside the house at night and sang to her, which rather annoyed her husband and the rest of the family. I've given it a contemporary twist. Layla. Her father said she'd be a good wife, and she would have been, but for the poet. She was young and flattered, with no defences against the words that spun her into their song. Out of the dark of the yard at night, his wailing chant. It was a voice that pursued and possessed. Even the dog sat and listened in a circle. He woke the house. Crazy curs, madman stalker. By day, he led a hermit life, lurking in the desert and in the mind. Her husband fettered her with suspicion. Now that her illness brews, the poet sings of a heart that ails. Her thoughts reach out across the sands. Let me be. A tumor kills me, not passion. But more night lyrics blossom. She sweats her sickbed black, closes her ears. He wants to heal her with kisses, or else immortalize her dying. Two men's fantasies pinion her, as her husband hovers, watcher at the pillow, alert for her death. She knows he needs to hear firsthand whether it's his name or the poet's that's last out of her lips. Layla, she shall howl, claiming back her stolen soul.
Thank you very much, Derek.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Theo Dorgan said about Derek's poem First Place. I thought of the Hopkins poem Inversnaid. Am I saying that right? Does anyone know that? Yeah. When I read this, and of Brian Friel's translations, a championing of what is wild and wayward, what is not to be confined inside the grid of maps, and by extension inside a reductive frame of reference. A beautifully extended and mastered metaphor breaks free into a hymn of praise, a celebration of unmapped existence, masterfully handled. Well done, Derek. Congratulations. And now you can masterfully handle the marvelous trophy, which you can see here as well. So thank you very much to our three readers and for their wonderful poems, and thank you for joining us on Zoom. So now we're actually going to have the shortlisted poets first, and then after that, anybody who has a poem in the book is free to come and read. So I believe Alison McCrossan is here with us in person.
I forgot my glasses, so I'm reading off my phone, hopefully. Not getting any younger or smarter. Yeah, are they? Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Thank you.
Okay. The words were hold, ordinary, code, shift, and nuclear. And it's inheritance. It's probably in my genes, ordinary. A daughter to parents who lived through rationing, Second World War, hard workers and poor. There is a structure in biology, a nuclear envelope, whose critical function is to protect genetic material within the cell. I'd love to know more, how environment got in, the very worst elements, and twisted the code until solace came to me in a bottle for a short while, but then turned and swallowed me like I was dirt in the night. How I was called many years later to this, the shift. Believing in nothing, I found myself on my knees, praying to anything, something. How a creep of violets unfolded, bluebells in April, candles on the horse chestnut, blossoms alight. How I try now to find the words for what has been given to me and go for holding blocks for a soul. Every day, how I work so hard for the love of it all.
Thank you very much, Alison. And Alison was placed second in 2023, so also no stranger to the International 5-Word competition. So the next person we should have is J.A. Spada, and joining us from USA.
It is Speda, and you are completely forgiven.
Thanks.
Yes, it's wonderful to be here. Thank you all so much. My 5 words were hedge, hide, word, drop, and spirit, and it is just a little thing. The title being To Be Done Before Anything Drastic. Feel squirrely? Had this in a joke. Put some words on cream paper, erase them. Finger drum a mermaid opera watching kernels pop. Sweep them from the floor when the bowl drops. Stop shaking. Trim the hedges until it rains. Ponder lightning. resist holes in the spirit and dare to make a plan. Saturday, I will swim on Saturday.
Thanks, Jacob. Thanks, Jacob. And Newlands in Oscar. Oh, Tracy Newlands.
Sorry,
Hi.
I didn't quite hear the name. It's very early in the morning here in Sydney. So thank you very much, everyone, for this amazing competition, because I look forward to every Tuesday. So thank you. That's when the words come out here. So my poem is called For Sam Lawler, Who Used His Gun. And he was my great-grandfather. And he came from the west coast of Ireland, actually. So ignore the ghost in the corner. Great-grandfather was buried in hallowed ground, though God knows how. From generation to generation, the curse is passed. We live like steam and die like wildflowers, limp after the ecstasy of one day in light. Sam's grandson keeps one bullet by his bed. Ignore the ghost in the corner.
Thank you, Tracy. Next up is Mary Louise Kiernan in the USA.
Good evening again, and 1,000 thanks to Paul Casey, Theo Dorgan, and the whole Bhéal team. And congratulations to the winners, the shortlisted ones, and any of the poets who take on these challenges. So in the words that are in this poem, the 5 words: squirrel, twin, wait, ripe, and find. And in the title, the word tail is used twice. The first time it is spelled T-A-L-E, second time T-A-I-L. A tail for no tail. A squirrel is a squirrel is a squirrel, you tell yourself, until you spy the one with no tail, catapulting from limb to limb to limb across the old twin-trunked tree. How could it have no tail? Caught in a snap trap with no way out but to chew it off? A tangle with another critter? No matter, there are chores, errands, work to do, yet you wait. This rodent races light. Could there be a pair? Do squirrels have twins? Triplets? Twin sheets getting ripe, finishing with the washings, you find no tail twining itself around a birch branch, seesawing. Its tail hair sought for fly fishing lures. Did someone yank the tail and run? In his shed, your uncle chopped tails of caught plump mice to collect bounty. For years, your no-tail springs up, down, around the tree. How long can a squirrel survive? Then you find a new home where your garden grows riper. Pulling at weeds, you ignore 2 full-tailed gray squirrels. You search the word squirrel. Its roots sprout from scirrus, skia for shadow, aura for tail. Weak for a squirrel sits in the shadow of its tail. Once again, you recall the squirrel with no tail, only to ponder the why of why you wonder. And as of now, no tail has a tail. Thank you.
Thank you, Mary Louise. Next up is Brian Kirk in Ireland, but on Zoom.
Hi, thanks very much. I'm actually in Dublin. I wish I was there. It looks like a great evening. I'm just going to read my poem. It's called Storm Glass, and the 5 words were wind, sleep, limit, glass, and story. Storm Glass.
Brian, sorry, it's just a bit, there's a lot of interference, or would you have headphones maybe, or just so that we can hear you, or do you want to talk there a second and we'll just see if it...
Okay, sorry about that. I don't have headphones to hand. Is there a noise in the background here?
Yeah, it's a bit hard to hear you. There's just a bit of static.
Okay, well, if you want to leave it and maybe come back to me and see if that works.
Where is the microphone on your computer? Is it blocked with something by any chance? The page or anything?
No, I'm just using the laptop mic on it. So.
It's on as well? Okay, it's on the webcam. Yeah, do you want to try dialing with your phone maybe? And we can come back to you in a minute?
Okay, yeah, I'll do that. So
perfect, just so that we can hear your poem as well as we can. Cool. We'll come back to you in a little while. Thanks, Brian. Sorry for that. Cool. So we'll jump to Marcella Raymond in USA. Marcella won the competition in 2022, so lots of winners.
Thank you to Bhéal and to Paul Casey. And I too really love the 5-word challenge because I'm a really lazy writer. And so it spurs me on every week. I really love it. So this poem is called Rapture. And the 5 words were red, remember, neighbor, shatter, and cross. Rapture. I'd like to say when I see red, I feel the fire and blood, the exquisite sacrifice of martyrs, bones shattered against the cross, or that ecstatic, I feel a Pentecostal dove, circled in flames, alight in the nest of my hair, to anoint me with its post-ascension wisdom. But when our neighbor comes to the fence with a pot of red begonias, I remember how last summer you floated cinquefoil blossoms, scarlet stars in a cut glass bowl on the kitchen table, and this, red stars adrift in a sky of water, is all the rapture, all the blessing I need. Thank you.
Thank you, Marcella. Next up is John D. Kelly, who is in Northern Ireland.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Yeah, good. Okay, my poem is called Leaving Ursa Minor. Thanks very much to Bhéal for including me in this anthology and to Theo Dorgan for choosing me in the shortlist. Ursa Minor is a constellation of stars. Its claim to fame is that it contains Polaris, which is the North Star, which is a star used in navigation. So the poem's sort of about navigation. It's also got an epigraph on it called I Be's Troubled, which is a song by Muddy Waters. Leaving Ursa Minor. Stay in the light, stay in the light. It's like a warning, a double flashing signal when you say it softly, twice, before I leave the bakehouse, before I lean over the counter, before I put my dark, woolly hatted head closer to the low hanging shade, try to make light of it. My brain is like a black hole sucking photons, but the rare illumination that leaves your lips bees so easily understood. I soon become aware that I'm no longer troubled as Muddy was when he sang, and I'm not stuck in the black stuff like a homesick Paddy. It's not all Greek to me. Your voice sparkles clearly as if from a distant constellation, as if from stars that guide me in the ancient ways of navigation. And I wonder how you steady me, and I listen to how the music changes from major to minor. I think of Cole Porter as I walk through a portal, a signposted access that takes me back, then back again into the sunlight. And I can see once more that I am the space where I am, a jigsaw piece that bees at the seat of my sitting. I'm at my writing, eating buttery sourdough toast and pondering that sometimes I do not be at the opening of a door as I now know it, but at a barrier to it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, John. Is Brian back, or will we? No, grand. We'll carry on, and we can hop to Brian soon. Okay, so if any of you lovely folks have a poem in the book and would like to come and read said poems, you're invited to. No, that's the open mic. So right now you can read your poems too. Yes. So you're invited, encouraged. Roisin.
Thanks. So the words were hell, pixelated, dinner, devil, and foot. And the name of the poem is Aperitif. One eye stark, staring hell straight into the gut of its pixelated pre-dinner aperitifs, mojitos, margaritas, sinuous sips of sex on the beach, while the devil's ulcerated foot taps out time with bat-winged phonetics. Not easy for the living ear to hear, too hyped up on sucking life through a paper straw.
Thank you, Roisin. Phil Spillane, making his way through the crowd. That's you. You too. Oh, Brian is back. So, Phil, can you hold your horses for un momento, por favor? Brian Kirk. Hi, Brian. You're just muted there, Brian. Oh.
Hi, I'm back again. I hope you can hear me. I couldn't access through my phone, I'm afraid, so I hope you can hear me.
It is. It's perfect now. Thank you very much. Thank you much.
Is that okay? Yeah, all right. Okay, we'll go again. Stormglass. Stormglass. His daughter cares for him these days. One time she thought he walked on water. Now the decks he tramps are not his own, not decks at all, if truth be told. He pauses by the locked door in the hall and taps the glass and squints to read the story of the skies. You cannot know the limits of the world until you weigh anchor, strike out for the horizon. Some nights when he can't sleep, he listens for old voices in the wind. And when the voices rage, eyes closed, he knows the glass is clouding. A storm is on the way. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Brian. Yeah, Phil.
Thank you. Big congrats to everyone that's shortlisted and the winners and stuff. This is a great night. We're all so talented, aren't we? You're all so talented. This is the words were Rin, Ricochet, Muckluck, Pores, and Beamish. I'm quite entertained that Ricochet has a T at the end. Wow. English is so weird. Anyway, this is called Warning. She can read fortunes in empty Beamish glasses. If the phone makes rins, spirals, means marriage. Or if the black stuff is full of pores as large as eyes, watch out. She barks if you see a muckluck. Run! Her head distorted by the Beamish glass. Shaking my head, I pick up my empty pint and say, "What the fuck is a muckluck?" The glass ricochets in my right hand, and I spit, I jump, I swear. And somewhere I hear a muckluck laugh.
So now we're going to jump to Zoom and we're going to have Jeff Cottrell.
Okay, so this was from October. The 5 words were hell, pixelated, dinner, devil, and foot. And I called the poem Dinner with the Devil. I had a 3-course dinner with the devil in hell. The appetizers were flat, but the main course was swell. It had a sweet taste, but with a touch of spam. It was spicier than chicken wings, bolder than lamb. I asked the devil, "What did you put in this dish?" He shook his head and answered, "To know you don't wish." "Oh, come on," I whined. "Tell me what's in this dinner." He rolled his eyes and said, "The foot of a sinner. Some pimply kid in Cork that I caught masturbating. My demon sawed his foot off and left him there, grating his teeth in agony and pain. There, are you satisfied?" I shrugged and I said, "Honestly, I think you lied. I've had sinner foot before, and this is way better." "Okay, fine," said the devil. "It starts with the letter P, but I swear that it's nothing too gross." "Platypus," I guessed. "You're right. Thank you, my host." Then he poured some cheap wine and we got pixelated, and I went to Yelp and made the devil's cuisine 5-star rated. That was Dinner with the Devil. And before I go, I am planning to be in Ireland this November. Hopefully I can make it over there to Bhéal and be there in person with you people. You on the open mic in person.
Hey, thanks, Jeff, and we might see you soon.
Sorry.
Yes, of course.
Thank you.
Mona.
This is from September. And I have to say first what a joy it is for my age to be here amongst such talent, which is encouraged by the likes of Paul Casey and Pat Cotter, etc. In Cork. The encouragement is unbelievable. The words were beat, slant, contaminate, guitar, and dizzy. Hooray, I'm off the housing list, gifted a site by the council, dizzy with delight. Now I can build my cabin. I will arise and go early, go to the bank, the builder, not for blocks, but clay and wattle. Good enough for the Ashanti people, good enough for me. I will have a garden. Mike is making a hive for my honeybees. I will grow my food, my beans in a row. I will have peace there, dropping quietly. Not the drip, drip of leaks and the scuttling of cockroaches. I will sit in my garden with my Aldi water feature, relaxing to the beat of my guitar under the slanting sun. The neighbours will envy me, my Bhéal glade, as the cars swish by on the potholed Innisfree road.
Thank you very much, Mona. Sue?
Thank you. Before I read my poem, I would like to point to this beautiful page, in memoriam to Mary O'Connell. So, yeah, she's here in spirit with us today. Okay, this poem was from May 23, and the words were Ring, Ricochet, Mucklucks, Pores, and Beamish. Add flames to fire. Black is the night. An upside down pint of Beamish. Snow, blankets, mountain slopes. Campfire casts a tiny spot of light, quivering among rugged ridges into foothills dark and vast, where we sit sweating in bearskins, mucklucks pulled under to cushion the cold from below. Stories and songs break from pores, drip from our tongues, add their flames to the fire, circle the hearth in a ring of friendship. Black is the night above our heads, white the surrounding cover. Our laughter ricochets in echoes, beams a spark of hope into the bleak mountainside.
Thank you, Sue. We'll hop to Zoom. Pam Campbell.
Okay. I have two poems. The first one is Glazed. The words were film, conspicuous, discombobulating, blue, and spacer.
Sorry, Pam. There's just only one poem. So if you want to pick your favorite and
no worries, no worries. They're both short, but I'll just do one. Thank you. As I said, the title is Glazed. Blue was the film glazing the glass, discombobulating mother and child. Black thundering smoke, the spacer between mother and child. Bomb blasted heartbeats, discombobulating mother and child. Blue was the film glazing the glass, conspicuous between mother and child. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Rosie?
This one is from January, and the words were hope, therapy, electricity, clouds, and neon. Rain. In therapy, I talk of clouds, of how their neon linings keep me awake till sunrise, the way that light flickers through the window before I fall, and of how the electricity of those morning dreams is my own. I am a cloud machine, I say, rain waiting to fall. My hope, a seed in the ground.
Thank you, Rosie. Catherine Ronan?
This is from August 23. TFW. Oh, sorry. The words were ginger, seek, breath, horse, and polymer. TFW. Polymer me this, polymer me that. What is that Ken in a new sun hat? Waiting for Barbie to arrive on her polymer horse. His chest tightened and his throat felt hoarse. Breathe, he said, as we seek the dream, licking ice cream off each other in the next movie scene. J.J. Fisher-Price was the director, with an enormous ginger beard. Scene 2, Act 1, boys and girls. Time to get TFW. Totally fucking weird.
Thank you, Catherine. Matt Mooney is going to join us from Zoom.
I'll read this especially for our lovely visitors, Sandy and Kim. And it's from the 11th of December last year, and the words were film conspicuous, discombobulated, blue and spacer, and title is Homemade Flight. Now, when you're on another flight into Egypt, since Gaza's south is no longer safe, as they were told by the Herodian, whose reprisal for invasion has become the slaughter of the innocents. You do not want to be conspicuous under any circumstances, while drones are out to discombobulate and disembowel you. Anything resembling human movement. And when out of the blue means fire and brimstone down upon your head, suddenly it's as if you are part of a crowd scene in a film, bombarded off the face of the earth. And if you are left to live, you just sit there, be you man, woman, or child, shut down, half dead, feeling for your body parts, looking at what's left of your world like a spacer, shell-shocked, dazed to death. Thank you.
Thank you, Matt. Anyone from the room? Antonio.
Hi. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Patrick, for the selection. It's an honor to be here, and I am very proud that my poems have been selected. This poem, so the 5 words were necklace, jazz, glorious, and security and peace. This was the 5 words challenge of the 10th of July. The poem is called Sound of Leaves. The wooden necklace of the baby had a carillon melody, colorful as an electric jazz. At the feet of the moon, astronauts and scientists were following the dance of the stars. There was a silent peace in their eyes, whispering to the planets words of interstellar sand and security before the storm, courage after the rainbow, counting the colors of Jupiter rings. Unendless will be the glorious sound of the leaves on Mars. For a few moments, the necklace of the baby was reflecting the light of the moon. Will kiss the sparkling sunset, reflecting the light of the Big Bang. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonio. Is Massimo?
No, yet. Massimo to go. If there's anyone else in the room with.
Is there anyone else in the room with a poem in the 5 words? Yeah, Karen.
Hi. The words were still, brittle, door, anniversary, and quake. Only in the door, quaking at the thought of the anniversary, like a cactus still brittle from 20 years of neglect.
Thank you very much. Anybody else? No? Anyone lurking down the back? Down the back of Zoom? No? Is that everybody? Yeah? Cool. Well, I think there's one question on all of our minds, and that's, what the hell is a muckluck?
Well, I looked it up when I was working on the 5-word poem. It's actually a type of boot. Yes,
A boot? A slipper?
It's a type of boot that's like made from deer skin.
Oh no.
Jeff actually gave the word. He
Oh.
might give the.
Jeff, do you have the definition to hand? A boot.
Oh, me? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. It's
There you go.
It's a-
There's actually no.
it's a boot. Seems like it-
We have got confirmation that it is in fact a boot. Thank you, Sue. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you to everybody who read our 3 winners of the International 5-Word Challenge and shortlist poets and all of the poets who read here. So, time. Those boots are not made for walking. They're for stealing children, it would appear, or walking through people's nightmares. Okay, so now we're going to take a break for about 15 minutes. 5 minutes.
8 minutes, maybe.
8 minutes. We'll call it halfway quits. Yeah, so if you want to read on the open mic, tonight is for other people's poems because it is an anniversary special limited edition event. So if you have poems of other poets that you want to read, please do so. If you came and you were not expecting that, maybe you can give your poem to your friend to read or somebody else. Yeah, so it's just the one night of the year. The open mic is for other people's poets. And it's open, so.
Oh.
It's just
Yeah.
Good, thanks. Yeah. Were you in the cabin, the cabin studio? No. Yeah, or the 6 to 6. My friend John Neville did the white kites. White kites. Yeah.
Actually, I will probably get the anthology because I know what I'm not going to read. But it's in there.
Okay, cool. Do you have a poem in there?
No, well, I don't.
I got lazy. I should have been up there just to
But
support people.
can I purchase one now?
Yeah, they're €5.
Okay,
Yeah.
And
You can put it into the donation jar.
okay, yeah, I'll make the change there. Thank you.
People actually do absorb short and I think they do if it's too long.
Yes, yeah, he's announced it today. Which one is it? Oh, it's Thank you for doing this. Thanks a million.
Take it away. Oh yeah, take it with you.
It's so present. Oh my God,
That's all I'm going to be doing.
I'm trying.
Like how people speak in Miami actually.
Last week, last month I did so. Better make it up for this month.
Oh, you do. You have to. It's like that. But I like the book. Yeah. Because there's a bus.
I read every It's just when I was on holiday, that's or like last week I wasn't really feeling too at home.
Oh yeah, thank you for coming. Yeah, I go home for you. Because I'm tired. Because I just always want to get home. That's my problem. But yeah, let's hang out.
I'll go after Ben.
Because I finish studying every day at 5. Except for Friday. And I have a friend on Wednesday. But like on Thursday or tomorrow.
Thursday would work for me. Tomorrow I'd say I'll be like tired maybe the Thursday.
Yeah. Maybe like coffee.
Yes. Very good. Yes, let's do that. Yes. Let's definitely do
Because
that.
I always go home like in a rush.
Yeah.
But it's kind of nice like.
Just unwind and get a coffee. Yeah. Yeah, let's do that. Okay.
Where do you work?
Just off Washington Street actually. So like, yeah, it's maybe if we go to Soho opens till 7, and we go to a bar, and I can meet you on Washington Street. Okay, I'll see you Thursday. Okay, cool. Text me when you get home to make sure you got home safe. Oh, I see everybody heard everything.
Yeah. Okay, have fun.
Okay, thank you. I will. I'll see you soon.
Honestly, I'll be hypocrite if I say no.
How are you?
You're doing great work here.
Which is Dar Harding as the name. So that's when it's all here in the stomach, down at the back there.
She's in Switzerland at home.
I put my own down.
Yeah. Even the boys,
a chance there.
People work by leaving a boss.
They handle that connection on the back very well. Fair play. You had to think on your feet, and you did.
Paul was giving me the inside scoop.
Oh yeah. Okay, I'll see you in a bit.
See you soon.
Yeah, I just call. You know what I mean? Rather call her voice. Yeah, but it's okay. Out of all people, yeah. That's what you want.
My name there as well for the crack. Who wrote that? That's not the Roisin Leggett's writing, surely.
I think she wrote it upside down.
Oh.
It's in the family. It's in the family. Like you like whole paragraph, the entire paragraph.
I went up to get the a drink for Paul, and she said you just paid for it. No, I got him one. I know, but I was at the other end of the bar thing. But he doesn't need too many. Do you know what I mean? And you don't have to get a drink every time. Well, is he going to have another card? Is going to have give me the nod now. No, don't give him that. No problem. My pleasure. Just give me the nod now, Rosie. Well, I have to have a look
Are you doing it through platform?
Where is Mona? Mona?
I mean, and then
Sorry.
Sorry. Like the platform makes it easy.
Yeah.
And it's into my students. It's very
Where are you?
I'm not anywhere yet.
Yeah. I was going to read a Cleo Dorgan maybe.
Okay, will I go up
Don't,
here?
not up there, no, maybe there in that gap.
Will I put you or me? You. Me. Okay.
I put me there.
There?
Yeah. Patricia, yeah, great. It's great nice.
Great nice. So I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm 5. Great nice.
Yeah. I go down for a cup of tea.
I'll get it for you, Mona. No, sit down. I'll get you a tea.
And there's people not only teaching maths, I think when you say
Yes, I do.
They always see you around. I know. It's great to have them though. It's a piece of history.
Good luck.
Yeah, I know. Give them a few minutes.
Give it a few minutes.
Yeah, I might go to the toilet actually.
How many people are on the list there?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17.
17? I've only got 3 online, so
Okay,
20.
20.
Not bad. 1 to 11, so get a few minutes, let's say.
Grand. I'm going to go to the bathroom. There is a queue, so. There was a queue. I know. Yeah. They're a bit big, but I had them a while now. I've said to like two people I know, I'm like, oh my god, your glasses are lovely, and then I'm looking at them and I'm like, they're the same as mine, and then I'm like, oh, I'm glad I bought them. I know. Yeah. Do you wear glasses? Are you finding I have astigmatism, so I find it very sometimes lights and stuff to see. You have now? And do you find them good? Like, they freak me out. I'm afraid to touch them.
We'll talk tomorrow.
It's not pretty body. How are you?
Good. How's it going?
Good. Run up the top.
Yeah, get it out of the way early.
Are you supposed to write in your the other proposal you're reading? No?
Oh, we did that. We did that one. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, John Keats. Or,
yeah.
All right.
I was John Keats that year, actually.
I don't want to be the last person. Can I put myself in between?
Sure.
Yeah, sure enough.
You can do whatever you want, Billy. You're an OG.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
I'm not in it though.
No, because you're on
Oh, fuck's sake, what am I doing now? Oh, Jesus Christ. You're making a pig's Mickey the whole thing now, aren't you?
Are you the headline act, Billy?
I don't want to be...
Sunday, I let you bring
That's the best time for a spoken word event. You're the... Can you put me up there after Seamus?
I will.
Thanks very much.
No worries. The pressure was too much.
You're having fun. Good. I'm having fun.
I will, but I'm
I'm already on this, and I'm just wondering there, I would like to give a plug to the Blue Mondays in-person session next week, which is opening, and that is part of the Library Learning Festival. I'm quite late on the list to catch everybody, so I don't know if I can go.
Do you want to go first? We're going to go now? Second? Second.
I know you've been keeping around.
I didn't know that it was great. I thought we
We're liking the We're surviving on the edge.
Because he has to get it back.
That's right.
Grant, and who are the other two? Okay, folks, I hope you all had a pleasant, relaxing, social break. So, we're going to the final part of our evening, so hold on to your hats. I would just like to say that I would like to give a shout out to Jack Shortland, who was our friend who used to always sit over there, who is no longer with us, and it's her anniversary around this time, and she was a regular in Bhéal, and I think it's her 3rd year anniversary now, and it was around this time of the year. So while this is a celebratory night, I often think of Jack around this time, and we miss you, Jack Shortland, and shout out to her. So, and of course Mary and everybody else. Okay, so we're actually going to kick off the open mic on Zoom, and we're going to be joined again by the very lovely Pam Campbell.
Thank you. This poem is written by a friend and a poet by the name of Jim Minnick. Blink. Cardinal lies on porch, beak open, wings splayed, graceless and still. Her mate calls from the yellow bells, but she doesn't answer. I cup my hands to hold her this morning, bitter cold. Her beak glows a red, lit from within, and her tail pulses with her heart. She looks right into me. Her eyes are so black. The membrane, no longer a separation, no longer anything but us. What does she see? A world of trickery where air betrays with hardness, the sky solid enough to kill, and me trying to unknow my way back into the earth. I shiver. We both blink. My hands grow numb as I listen to her partner sing from the frost-covered glass. I imagine little flames traveling my veins, blood brighter with whatever heat and power my great-grandma could call as she laid hands and healed other people, other birds. Did she lay her hands on me, my ears that ached through infancy? She held me, that much I know. My fingers tingle cold. I pray and breathe and stroke the bird's soft cheek and hope my hands aren't just stealing heat. Come back, I whisper, come back. Geese honk down the valley. Wren can't stop chattering as clouds filter the rising sun. She blinks more, lifts her beak, her red crest peaks. I step away from windows, hold her to the morning light. Is it time? I ask. She turns her head, looks out, and launches her yes. The air once more soft enough to fly through, honest enough for love. Thank you.
Thank you, Pam. Next up, we're going to have Elizabeth Gibson.
Thanks. So I'm going to read Valentine by Jackie Kay. Jackie Kay has a lot of connections to Manchester, so I wanted to celebrate that because that's where I live. I also frequently use this poem when I run writing workshops on the theme of queer time and the idea that within queer lives, our life milestones can often be different to what's conventional, and that time can feel quite fluid, and to celebrate that. Valentine by Jackie Kay. On our first Valentines, You appeared at precisely the same time as me, on those cobbled streets by the quay, Castlefield, as if you had loved me all of my life already. And our love was a castle and a field. On our second Valentine's, I made a single bowl of tagliatelle with shaved white truffle and truffle oil, and though you had a cold, or was it me, we twirled and spun our durum wheat round a silver spoon before going to bed, and spinning and twirling again, and later sleeping like spoons. And our love woke to a dream of ourselves years ahead. On our third Valentine's, we went to that cafe in Levenshulme, and you looked at me as if I were the only girl in the room. And I could picture you then, your smile suddenly as an old woman. And our love had walked the years like miles. Tonight the stars are out for us, dancing in the February cold, and our love is as young as it is old.
Thank you very much, Elizabeth. Next up is Sue Blue.
Thanks very much. Before I kick off with my poem, I'd like to give a little plug in. Next week, we are opening the Blue Mondays in-person session, which happens here in this room, to the Lifelong Learning Festival. So we have a few more spaces available than normally. That is the in-person session is where we critique each other on performance, which has been greatly helpful for people to gain everything they needed to do the performing. So you're absolutely welcome. Contact me, talk to me if you want to join next week, 6 to 9 p.m. here in the Hayloft, and it's not an audience event. So I look forward to anybody joining in and letting me know. This one here is I'm slightly cheating the rules, I think, of other people's poetry, but this is a group poem that we wrote together with all the Blue Mondays people. So there is Pam Campbell, Catherine Ronan, Cedric Bicon, George Simpson, John Michael Tynan, Martin DeLay, and myself involved in this poem. And what we did is we basically we started it off with a haiku. The next person was to write a couplet, and they pinged it to someone else who wrote the next haiku, and then the next couplet, and so on. And then we mixed them together like this. Stormborn. Hanging low today, willow branches touch water, broken by new storms. Coyote yips twilight sky, cow bellows her calves closer. Blue crack of the heart, thunder stretches across dawn, a newborn lies still. Distant roars proclaim the rains, earth raised in coming relief. Hot tongues slap briquettes, breath clouds cower from lashing, feet and paws snuggle. Blood rivulets eye sockets, fair the red beak's haven pecks. With innocent gaze, the unsteady foal searches for its mother's warmth. Stormchild sighs in safe embrace. Lightning releases the day.
Thank you very much, Sue. Next up is Lauren O'Donovan.
That came quick. So I would like to read a poem from the marvellous Sandra Yanone, the one and only, from the Glass Studio, just out from Salmon Poetry. And Sandy just happens to be here on her tour of the four corners of Ireland. And there is some exquisite work in here, but I would like to read the title poem, The Glass Studio. In the copper, I hope I don't murder it now, Sandy, sorry about that, but here we go. Yeah. The Glass Studio. In the Copper Room in Limerick, on what should be called Copper Road, the low copper ceiling is held up by copper walls. They sing me their copper songs whenever I can be within them under copper ground. Last visit, Edward and I drank pint after coppery pint of treaty ale, so many coppery pints that we began to see our reflections in our makeshift hall of copper mirrors another night. Her friend told me about her candor, but didn't use that word, choosing instead to call it something more shimmery or burnished, like copper, while the candles amplified their messages against the copper walls. The copper room always feels familiar, like the press of copper foil between my fingers that I used to wrap pieces of hand-cut glass in my father's stained glass studio as a girl. Every now and then the copper foil would slice through my unsuspecting skin. My blood would ooze like a copper river until someone would bandage me, the blood drying to an even deeper copper hue. Every lamp in the studio was made this way: copper foil, silver solder, a toxic elixir of patina that muted the shine. People would buy their lamps to hang in their copper kitchens, near their copper pans, but few knew the process to make each lamp as I did. Few knew that copper lay buried beneath the skin of the solder's seams, or of all that blood turned copper that went into the making of their coppery light. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lauren, and thank you very much, Sandy. Next up is Benjamin Burns.
I'm going to read a little poem, a Pablo Neruda poem from this nice book called Isla Negra that I picked up in Rebel Reads last summer, and I really like some of these short ones. This is called The Bull. The oldest bull crossed the day. His legs scratched the planet. He continued, traveling to where the sea lives. He reached the shore, the oldest bull. On the edge of time, the ocean. He closed his eyes and grass covered him. He breathed the whole green distance, and silence built the rest.
Thank you, Ben. Next up is Margaret O'Regan.
Thank you. This is by Rifat Al-Arir, and it's called If I Must Die. If I must die, you must live, to tell my story, to sell my things, to buy a piece of cloth and some strings. Make it white with a long tail, so that a child somewhere in Gaza, while looking heaven in the eye, sees the kite, my kite, you made, flying up above, and thinks for a moment, an angel is there, bringing back love. If I must die, let it bring hope, let it be a tale. Now I have another second one, very short. It's the lyrics of my friend's song, John Neville, a local singer-songwriter, and it's dedicated to Rifat Al-Arir. Rifat was murdered in December in Gaza. He was a poet, and he was a professor of literature in a university in Gaza, and of course that is razed to the ground as well. He was killed along with family members. He wrote that poem in 2012. This is John Neville's song, and it's called White Kite. Rifat Al-Arir, they got you on the run. Will they get you with a rocket or a lone man with a gun? You read about your white kites. You told the world one night, let them fly, let them fly. Oh, they came for you one evening. They said you had to die. In a preset destination came a rocket from the sky. Bye bye, Alarir, bye bye. The children won't forget you. Make kites with sticks and string. On the fabric, write your name in. Now a new life you begin. Fly, Alarir, won't you fly? With your white kites flying free in the sky. And by the way, every single Saturday we march through our streets in Cork, and last Saturday was week 26, so next Saturday will be week 27, and the white kites still are brought along by children in particular, and they make their own at home. They just bring them along and add to the props for the march. So please feel free to join us anytime you're around.
Thanks, Margaret. Thank you very much. Right, next up, we're going to hop to Zoom again and go to Jeff Cottrell, please.
Okay, so here is a poem by my friend A.F. Harold, performance poet in Reading, England. You may or may not have heard of, or you may or may not know. But this is by him, and it's called Fairy Tale Poem. When I was just an ugly duckling, I asked my mother, what will I be? Will I be handsome? Will I be a swan? Here's what she said to me. No, you'll be a duck. Just a particularly ugly one. That's Fairy Tale Poem by A.F. Harold. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff. Next up is Phyllis Balan.
Thanks so much. Thank you. So I'm going to say a poem by my best friend Eliza Sabadine. She was with me there earlier, but she had to leave early though. I actually interviewed her for my podcast there a couple of weeks back. It only came out 2 weeks ago. It's called No More Begs Den, and she was amazing. She read out 3 poems, and she has an amazing imagination. And I'm going to read one of them out now. And if you want to hear the rest of them, just listen into our podcast. But yeah, this is called Waiting in Line at the Supermarket, or she wants to retitle it All These Body Buttons, but I like the original title. Sorry, sir. I didn't mean to step on your shoe. I heard a pop when I broke your personal space. There's something about supermarkets, the waste, the repetition, that makes me want to feel like an alien among different types of aliens. It makes me want to pop every personal space I encounter. And laughing hysterically, laughing like a child. Hold on to anything, search for anything, keep holding on and keep searching. Sorry, sir, the line we're waiting in makes me want to bury myself under a tree. I want to bury you, and the fat lady with the yogurt too. I want to drag you down with me. I'd step on your shoes and crouch and then grab your ankle. The way that nightmares go, because what about the way that our particles have a tendency to mix with those of the earth, with those of the worms? Sorry, sir, I chopped my pomegranate so close to your shoe. I did it on purpose. I was looking for the pop. Thank you for picking it up. And while you're at it, how dead do you think it is? How alive do you think it is? Sorry, sir, I do need to ask, does it look like a symbol to you? Doesn't it really look like one? Do you think that the pear is a symbol as well? What do you stand for standing there? Is this a pose? Is that a pose? When you prefer to feel like a rose? I pay for my pomegranate. I'm lost in my 9:45 p.m. sad line. and the sad supermarket fantasies. The alien in the suit has disappeared. And him and the fat alien with the yogurt. I flirt with the thoughts of craziness. I wish I could laugh and speak thin with a little voice from the canyons which belongs to those aliens, in an old, not so perfect now voice that comes from the rocks and oozes like gas. Could it disappear into your belly button? I'm looking for the mother of all things. I'm looking for the mother of the house and symbols. Could I disappear into your belly buttons? It's hard to eat shit without visions. Thanks for listening.
Thanks, Bill. Next up is Catherine Ronan.
Hi, Mary Louise. I'm going to read from Mary Louise's book, The Gift of Glossophobia. Now, Mary Louise does not know what poem I'm going to read, so I'm going to just explain why I picked this poem. The medics thought I was going to miscarry my son, and I'm glad to report that he's 20 years old next Monday. So, Riptide. Show me the poetry in pregnancy, your placenta settled like a creature sunken, one heartbeat from hemorrhage. You, a tiny survivor, floated shut-eyed, suspended in love's riptide. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Catherine. And Patricia Walsh.
I think you're familiar with Beowulf. Yeah. Well, this is the initial scenes. It's translated at various times over the years, but most famously through Seamus Heaney. So here it is. So, spear Danes in days gone by, and the kings who ruled them had courage and greatness. We have heard those princes' heroic campaign. There were shield chieftain, scourge of many tribes, a wrecker of mead benches, rampaging among foes. This terror of the tall troops had come for air. If only to start with, he would flourish later on, as his powers waxed and his worth was proved. In the end, each clan was on the outlying coast, beyond the whale road, had to yield to him and begin to pay tribute. That was one good thing. Afterward, a boy child was born to shield. A cub in the yard, a comfort sent by God to that nation. He knew what they had suffered, the long times and troubles they'd come through without a leader. So, the Lord of Life, the glorious Almighty, makes this man renowned. Shield had fathered a famous son. Beowulf's name was known throughout the north, and a young prince must be prudent like that, giving freely while his father lives, so that afterwards, in age, when fighting starts, steadfast companions will stand by him and hold the line. Behaviour that's admired is the path of power among people everywhere. Shield was still thriving when his time came, and he crossed over to the Lord's keeping. His warrior band did what he bade them when he laid down the law among the Danes. They shouldered him out unto the sea's flood. The chief they revered, who'd long ruled them. A ring-holed prow rode in the harbour, ice-clad outbound, the craft for a prince. They stretched their beloved lord in his boat, laid out by the mast amidships, the great ring-giver. Far-fetched treasures were piled upon him, and precious gear. I've never heard before of a ship so well furbished, with battle tackle, bladed weapons, and coats of mail. Vast treasure loaded on top of him. He'll travel so out onto the shores and sways. They decked his body no less bountifully, with offerings than those first ones did, who cast him away when he was a child, and launched him alone out over the waves. And it started to go standing up, high above his head, and started to drift. To wind and tide, bewailing him and mourning their loss. No man can tell, no wise men in hall or weathered veteran know for certain who salvaged that road. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Patricia. And next up is Daw Harding.
I think it's the 17th anniversary, Paul, is it?
It is, yeah.
Well done. He's done great stuff for Cork Poetry.
Oh.
He's brought along a lot of young Cork people in this time and did things that they'd never thought they'd have done. I think I was there on the first night. Was the Cat Club?
It was, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think I did a bit of hair then. You had more hair. What was I going to say? When we were young fellas, when I was young fella, about 50 years ago, pals of mine used to go to London and they go to Paris and they go to New York for a couple of weeks and they come back in, or a couple of months maybe. They come back and they'd say, Cork is a dead place, there's nothing happening here. And you should go to New York, you should go to Paris, you should go to London. It's all happening there. Of course, it was the 60s, the Beatles and the Stones and all that kind of stuff. This poem is by Cavahy, written in 1894, and it's called This City. You said, I'll go to a different country, cross the sea, find another better city than this one. Here everything I do is wrong. My heart is dead and buried as a corpse. How long should my soul suffer here? Wherever I turn, anywhere I look, I see the burnt cinders of my life here, where I've spent too long doing nothing. You'll find no new sea, no new country. This city will always dog you. You'll roam the same streets, go grey in the same houses. You'll always end up here, forget anywhere else. You've no ship, no road. The life you've wasted here, you've wasted everywhere.
Thank you very much, Daw. Next up, we'll have Matt Mooney, please.
A poem by Edward O'Dwyer from his new collection just out called The Rain on Cruises Street. This one has just been read by him last night. It was read by him last night on the live broadcast from Limerick of Cultivating Voices. So I was privileged to be there sharing the readings with him. And this particular poem that he read really struck me. It's called Just by Chance. This is the place we have been coming to since. This is the hour, and yet just by chance that the stars were out that first night, and their light, just by chance, glittering on the Shannon's lurching surface. A near full moon suspended over the centre of Thomond Bridge, just by chance of where we were stood on the quay. And just by chance, it was the most brittle silence with which we had no words to shatter. Did I think to remove my coat and placed it over your shoulders, brushed your neck with my fingers just by chance of how they shook. Then surely it was just by chance of the way of the tide that a pair of swans came floating out from the bridge's far side towards us. And so I learned that swans mate for life. Just by chance, you'd read it somewhere once, but couldn't remember where. As though just by chance you said, that did it occur to me, then I may never have a better opportunity to kiss you than there and then. That average Wednesday, Limerick was the most romantic place ever, and just by chance. And so, gently turning you round to face me, just by chance of the arbitrary direction of a convenient wind, your russet hair all blown back, and so, just by chance, the whole of your beautiful face staring back at me. We kissed our first kiss in that unlikeliest of ways. Sometimes things happen so perfectly, and yet just by chance.
Thank you very much, Matt. Next up is Cathal Holden.
How are we, guys? I was caught a little bit on the hop by other people's poetry, although I should know by now. So I'm going to flip a coin for one of two in tails and email a buddy of mine sent me. So heads was called Walkabout, tails is a passage psalm. So let's dig it out. There is nothing in this that cannot be languid, long, juniper limey twist, the softness of F's and S's on your tongue, and the O bony O setting, the muscle stretching the lid, settling nature of your balm. Afternoons that grow marigold, its own medicine, strong by the virtue of subtlety. There is a hushing lap on the shore of your twin spheres of ancient lakes straddling unity, encircling a vast unknown familiarity that waxes and wanes. Two black moons and the orbital romance of great blue-green shale psyche shine back at me. In your chest and arms, on these dappled days, the watercolors of light play across your face. I see no shadows chase, but an iridescence that lingers on my eyelids, and I feel it at the stems and hems of my hair and skirt, grazing fingertips, crowned in ivy at the flurry of the coronation. We have plucked out all the thorns. In the quiet between the druidic moon and milkmaid dawn, our limbs and fingers spill unbound from their clutch of thumbs and awkward elbows to irrigate the groves of grooves on marbled skin. Cool the igneous memories, the great cracks and mottle of things, the volcanic birth that marks me. We cast threads of our dreamings, spools through the illusory, to navigate the labyrinthine haze of things we never agreed to believe, and we breach back down into endless, nourishing earth. Our taproot fingers, deep, thirsty and knuckled as the roots of mandrake drinking. I speak, soft, silly and magic. Hold me to your rhythm, skin taut across the hollow at the strike of which all things begin. I want to hear you knock at my gate and ask me out to play. In this dreaming, we are tunnelers through worlds, witching our wakeful, slaking a curiosity of self and shadow, dancing past the threshold as it circumvents the tomb. And on the gaps in difficult days, where the sun shines, where the sun through the grass splits rays, you refract all the artifice of life until you are an architect of light, beaming better ways, prismic and primrosen as the glance of white sun on a horizon. We both can remember how I told you that I loved you long before we ever even kissed. That's by Katie Nimahuna. Thank you.
Thank you, Cathal. Next up is Cedric Picon.
poem was written by Roxanne, who's here in the room. So that was a 5-word challenge of March 24th. So there is a slight mistake in the collection.
Oh, wow.
that is not the point. It's not too hurt. So the 5 words were block, crawl, icing, tragedy, and goodness. And the title is Block. I don't think people perceive enough the power of the block button on social media. Rumors, prejudice, and bullying crawl through the screens and keyboards, melting your piece like icing on a cake left on the windowsill. You become defiant, scared, insecure, more than you could probably already be. Sorry, this sentence doesn't make any sense. What a tragedy. Oh, those wonderful trust issues because people you never have and never will meet in person. Or maybe you did, actually. They are just hiding under fake names. Ghosting isn't nice, as they told me. It's the act of a coward, as they told me. Blah, blah, blah. Maybe it is. Maybe there is cruelty in it. Maybe I'm not as innocent as I look. But I deserve to sleep at night, to wake up light-hearted, without dark clouds from those memories. Casting a spell to become invisible to some people isn't yet operational. So thanks goodness for the block button.
Thank you, Cedric. Thank you, Roxanne. Next up is Dean Brown.
Called The Fly by Miroslav Hub. She sat on a willow trunk watching part of the Battle of Crécy, the shouts, the gasps, the groans, the tramping and the tumbling. During the 14th charge of the French cavalry, she mated with a brown-eyed male fly from Vadencourt. She rubbed her legs together as she sat on a disemboweled horse, meditating on the immortality of flies. With relief, she alighted on the blue tongue of the Duke of Clairvaux. When silence settled, and only the whisper of decay softly circled the bodies, and only a few arms and legs still twitched jerkily under the trees, she began to lay her eggs on the single eye of Johann Uhr, the royal armourer. And thus it was that she was eaten by a swift, fleeing from the fires of Estre.
Thank you, Dean. Next up is Seamus Harrington.
Thanks, Shauna. When switch S is closed, current cannot flow to the diode, the student read out. There was howls of protest. That should be no flow, he was told. That was what was on the blackboard, he said. Sure. His colleague said, you can't read your own writing. So thinking back on this, many decades later, I said, there could be a poem there. Change one letter would be the title. But I never got the poem because I found one already done. Printer's error, P.G. Woodhouse. As o'er my latest book I pored, enjoying it immensely, I suddenly exclaimed, "Good Lord," and gripped the volume tensely. "Golly," I cried, I writhed in pain. "They've done it on me once again." And furrows creased my brow. I'd written, which I thought quite good. Ruth, ripening into womanhood, was now a girl who knocked men flat and frequently got whistled at. And some vile, careless, casual gook had spoiled the best thing in the book by printing not, yes, not, great Scott, when I had written no. On murder in the first degree, the law, I knew, is rigid. Its attitude, if A kills B, to A is always frigid. It counts it not a trivial slip if on behalf of authorship you liquidate compositors. This kind of conduct it abhors and seldom will allow. Nevertheless, I deemed it best and in the public interest to buy a gun to oil it well, inserting what is called a shell, and go and pot with sudden shot this printer who had printed not when I had written no. I tracked the bounder to his den through private information. I said, "Good afternoon," and then explained the situation. "I'm not a fussy man," I said. "I smile when you put rid for red and bad for bed, and ode for head, and bulge for bow. When wone appears in lieu of wine, or if you alter cone to shine, I never make a row. I know how easy errors are, but this time you have gone too far by printing not when you knew what I really wrote was no. Prepare," I said, "to meet your God, or as you would say, your goo or bod, or possibly your go." A few weeks later into court, I came to stand my trial. The judge was quite a decent sort. He said, "Well, cocky, I'll be passing sentence in a jiff. And so, my poor unhappy stiff, if you have anything to say, now is the moment. Fire away." "You have?" I said. "And how?" "Me lord, the facts I don't dispute. I did, I own it freely, shoot this printer through the collar stud. What else could I have done, me lord? He'd printed not." The judge said, "What? When you had written no?" "God bless my soul, gadzooks," says he, "the blighter did that once to me. A dirty trick, I trow. I hereby quash and override the jury's verdict." "Gosh," he cried, "give me your hand. Yes, I insist, you splendid fellow. Case dismissed." Cheers, and a voice, "Wow, wow." A statue stands against the sky, lifelike and rather pretty. 'Twas recently erected by the PEN committee, and many a passerby is stirred, for on the plinth, if that's the word, in golden letters you may read, "This is the man who did the deed, his hand set to the plough. He did not sheath the sword, but got a gun at great expense and shot the human blot who printed not when he had written no. He acted with no thought of self, not for advancement and pelf, but just because it came hot to think the man had printed not when he had written no." Thank you.
Next up is Billy Ramslow.
I'll read a poem by John Ashbery. What is poetry? What is poetry? The medieval town with frieze of Boy Scouts from Nagoya. The snow that came when we wanted it to snow. Beautiful images, trying to avoid ideas, as in this poem, but we go back to them, as to a wife, leaving the mistress we desire. Now they will have to believe it, as we believed it. In school, all the thought got combed out. What was left was like a field. Close your eyes, and you can feel it from miles around. Now open them on a thin vertical path. It might give us what? Sunflowers soon.
Thank you very much, Billy. Next up is Mona Lynch, please.
Thank you. I'd like to read from Theo Dorgan's recently launched book, where he took us all back to our early school days. On the Friday of his first week, he wrote, "Closed in. I know the gate is closed because I tried it. We have to stay inside all day, inside the yard, inside the room. After a while, the room smells, and we can have the window open. I drag my nails across the ribbed desk, making them skip as I press. I lean back and stare at the ceiling. 2 bare bulbs. Can I bring my ball to school? No. My hurley? No. Can I bring my dinky cars? Well, you're not supposed to. Hand in my pocket, I spin and spin the wheels. The worst is when we have to pretend to sleep. Palms of our hands flat on the warm wood. Arms folded, heads down. Mrs. Ryan reads. I know this because if you very slowly slide your head on the backs of your hands a small bit, another bit, you can see her desk. This is called squinting. After the sleep, we have letters or numbers. I already know the names of days. On Fridays, we have a story. Then we go home for 2 days. And then Theo wrote the following. Back again. Then we have to go back. See, he thought a week was enough. And he wrote back again. Then we have to go back again Monday. My dad is putting his bike into the shed. I don't think I'll bother going back, I say. He sits on his heels and looks at me. Back where, he says. School? Oh, and why is that, he asks. Well, to be honest, it isn't very interesting. He starts roaring laughing, and so do my mum, Auntie Angela, Uncle John. I don't understand, but it makes me angry and confused. You just have to knuckle down, he says, ruffles my hair and takes a wrapped sweet from his pocket. When they've gone inside, I squat on the hot concrete, grind my knuckles into the ground. I learn nothing from this except that it hurts. Why tell me something that makes no sense?
Thank you, Mona. Next up is Karen Casey.
Going to read from Paula Meehan. Now we must be conjuring up the two of them in the room. And she's amazing. I could have chosen any of her books and any poem. She's the High Priestess. I don't know if he knows a kind of lifeline, but she definitely is for me. This is from Mysteries of the Home. It's called Well. I know this path by magic, not by sight. Behind me on the hillside, the cottage light is like a star that's gone astray. The moon is waning fast, each blade of grass a ruin inscribed by hoarfrost. This path's well worn. I lug a bucket by bramble and blossoming blackthorn. I know this path by magic, not by sight. Next morning, when I come home quite unkempt, I cannot tell what happened at the well. You spurn my explanation of a sex spell cast by the spirit who guards the source that boils deep in the belly of the earth, even when I show you what lies strewn in my bucket. A golden waning moon, 7 silver stars, our own porch light, your face at the window staring into the dark.
Thank you very much, Karen. Next up is Roisin Leggett Bowen.
I was going to read a poem by Megan O'Rourke. She wrote a poem called "The Night Where You No Longer Live," and it's kind of all those questions you want to ask after they've died. Was it like lifting a veil? And was the grass treacherous, the green grass? Did you think of your own mother? Was it like a virus? Did the software flicker? And was this the beginning? Was it like that? Was there gas station food? And was it a long trip? And is there sun there? Or drones, or punishment, or growth? Was it a blackout? And did you still create me? And what was I like on the first day of my life? Were we two from the start? And was our time an entrance or an ending? Did we stand in the heated room? Did we look at the painting? Did the snow appear cold? Were our feet red with it, with the wet snow? And then what were our names? Did you love me or did I misunderstand? Is it terrible? Do you intend to come back? Do you hear the world's keening? Will you stay the night? Megan O'Rourke.
Thank you, Roisin. Next up is Alexandra Toth, please.
I never know how to work. I don't want to break it. So recently I had to make a very kind of hard decision in my life to kind of protect myself in a way. And this poem that I found from Coney Webb called "Standing Up for Myself" really resonated with me with part of what I was kind of feeling and going through. I will truly accept myself today. No more worrying about what you say. I will do what I really want to do. No longer will I be controlled by you. I will be more of the real me. You may just not like what you see, but to my own self, I will be true, whether or not it matters to you. No more me saying yes to please. I will say the word no with ease. Too many times I let those others lead. That is not the way for me to succeed. I will be who I am right now, and to your ways I will not bow. For I have ways of my own that work just fine. Because my life is not yours, my life is mine. I will truly accept myself today. No more worrying about what you say. I will do what I really want to do. No longer will I be controlled by you.
Thank you very much, Alexandra. Next up is Rosie O'Regan, please.
I'm going to share a poem that my mum wrote.
Yeah, some of you will know she passed away very recently. But I'm okay, it's okay to cry and all that crap. It's about 2 years ago she kind of told me, like, I definitely got my love of poetry from my mother. Both my mum and dad, they both loved poetry, but my mum really had a poet's heart, I think. And about 2 years ago she told me that she did try and write a lot of poetry, but she destroyed it all. Long time ago, I think before I was born even. But she remembered this one. It was obviously still in her mind, and she wrote it for my dad. And it's really special because, you know, they were the silent generation, and you'd never really know what their relationship was really. But this poem is so reassuring for me, and it's my mum's poem, the one surviving poem. True love. You are the one, too close to comprehend, a breath caught between heartbeats, a close look interpreted out of the corner of my eye. Thank you, Mammy.
That's beautiful, Rosie. Thank you very much. Next up is Colin Scully.
Thanks, Shauna. This is a poem by Jane Lovell. It's called "Blame the Fox," and it's also a poetry film. So I'd recommend you to, made by Janet Lees. So I'd recommend you to look up the poetry film as well. It's called "Blame the Fox." Blame the fox. His unravelling of self across the skyline. The edge of him at dusk, swifting in towards the gravel nests. Blame the wind, its cloudless curse, the bullying of teasels, grasses, reeds. Blame the earth, its storms and tides, its restless shift and tilt, the soulless waters, sweeping tracts of empty sea. Blame God, He made us, gave us hands to mould the earth, to haul it from the deep and beat it dead, remove its head, its grey stargazy eyes. Blame us, born blind, walk the tide line to its furthest point, its graveyards send, its puddings foam and scrabbled rack, its husks of cormorant and raven snaggered on rock, sloughs of mealy feathers, rasping wings. Listen, hear their bones, their hollow sigh, abandoned to the wind.
Thank you very much, Colin. I think we just have one more reader left, unless anybody else wants to throw their name into the ring. Carl, yeah, do you want to come up? What's your surname?
Fraser.
Fraser.
This is a poem by John Cooper Clarke. It's called "I Want to Be Yours." I want to be your vacuum cleaner, breathing in your dust. I want to be your Ford Cortina, I will never rust. If you like your coffee hot, let me be your coffee pot. You call the shots, I want to be yours. I want to be your raincoat for those frequent rainy days. I want to be your dreamboat when you want to sail away. Let me be your teddy bear, take me with you anywhere. I don't care, I want to be yours. I want to be your electric meter, I will not run out. I want to be the electric heater, you'll get cold without. I want to be your setting lotion, hold your hair in deep devotion. Deep as deep Atlantic Ocean, that's how deep is my devotion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Carl. And we have our final reader is Kieran McCartan.
Nice one. Happy birthday to Bhéal. Nice one. More power, more power. What an achievement. 17 years, absolutely amazing achievement. And big respect to Paul. Absolutely unbelievable. And to everybody for supporting it and everybody who keeps it going and the work that people do for it. More power, Paul.
More power, everyone. Um,
So I found out recently that Gil Scott Heron's dad played for Celtic, and I have to say, like, he's one of my favorite dudes ever, you know, and like, what a piece of information to up his profile in my mind. But this is a poem by him. Called "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." You will not be able to stay home, brother. You will not be able to plug in, turn on, and cop out. You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for a beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions. The revolution will not show you pictures of Nixon blowing a bugle and leading a charge by Joni Mitchell, General Abrams, and Spiro Agnew. To eat hog maws confiscated from a Highland sanctuary, the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by the Schaefer Award Theatre and will not star Natalie Wood and Steve McQueen or Bullwinkle and Julia. The revolution will not give your mouth sex appeal. The revolution will not get rid of the nubs. The revolution will not make you look 5 pounds thinner because the revolution will not be televised, brother. There will be no pictures of you and Willie Mae pushing that shopping cart down the block on the dead run or trying to slide that colour TV into a stolen ambulance. NBC will not be able to predict the winner at the 8:32 on the report from 29 districts. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of pigs shooting down brothers on the instant replay. There will be no pictures of Whitney Young being run out of Harlem on a rail with a brand new process. There will be no motion, there will be no slow motion or still lifes of Roy Wilkins strolling through the Watts in a red, black and green liberation jumpsuit that he has been saving for just the proper occasion. Green Acres, Beverly Hillbillies, and Hooterville Junction will no longer be so damn relevant, and women will not care if Dick finally got down with Jane on Search for Tomorrow, because black people will be in the street looking for a brighter day. The revolution will not be televised. There will be no highlights on the 11 o'clock news and no pictures of hairy-armed women liberationalists. And Jackie and Oasis blowing her nose. The theme song will not be written by Jim Ebb or Francis Scott Keys, nor sung by Glenn Campbell, Tom Jones, Johnny Cash, Engelbert Humperdinck, or the Rare Earth. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be right back after a message about a white tornado, white lightning, or white people. You will not have to worry about a dove in your bedroom or the giant in the toilet bowl. The revolution will not get better with Coke. The revolution will not fight germs that may cause bad breath. The revolution will put you in the driver's seat. The revolution will not be televised, will not be televised, will not be televised. The revolution will be no rerun, brothers. The revolution will be live.
That it is. Very good. Okay. I don't know if anybody's organised events or anything, but it's very hard actually, and not just hard to do it. It's more like having the motivation and the passion and persistence to run an event more than once, let alone for a year, let alone for 7 years, but to do it for 17 years is absolutely amazing. And considering in Ireland, you know, culture stuff gets cut all the time, funds, you know, people get tired, people are very tired, but Paul Casey has pursued, regardless of multiple of those factors, to make this event happen on a regular basis. And there's so many poets passed through here, there's so many poets were introduced to poetry here, there's just so much history really and of Irish culture and Cork culture and poetry here, and it's all down to Paul Casey. So big up Paul Casey. And everybody here that supports it, comes out all the time, you know, shares their work. It's really, 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 really amazing. So it's its 17th birthday, so go party like it's Bhéal's birthday. Billy's coming in.
I'm going to say, Bula Bus for the MC, great job.
Thank you very much. Is that all the housekeeping bits? Do you have anything else to announce?
Well, we've got mains.
Of course, never forget mains.
Put on a few, get a few drinks.
There's a few drinks to be had across the road in Arthur Mains. I'm sure all of you can go over there with your eyes closed at this stage, and if you can't, catch on to somebody who can. And there will be drinks, chats, bread and hummus possibly, ambiance, and much more over in Arthur Mains. So happy birthday, Bhéal, and thank you everybody. And love to Rosie. And thank you to all the people on Zoom and all of our guest winners, readers. Thank you very much. Bye. Yeah, so.
This is my card. If I have a Saturday, so I can get down. I would love to come. I don't know right now if I have one, but if I do, there's nowhere I would rather be than in the city.
And free Palestine. I know.